And we are live. Yes, sir. We're live here on Let's Think Podcast.
That's right.
6-7 Islam L, your
Mhm.
host. Our
Shalom.
co-host Jarvis McGriffell will be in later. He's
Yes,
just a
sir.
little bit late, but inshallah he'll be right in. First and foremost, allow me to rise, giving all thanks and perfect praise unto Allah, highest honors to his holy prophet, honors to all, and I mean all, participating in the comprehensive program of uplifting for all of humanity. I
Yes,
want to give
sir.
honors to the Moore Science Temple of America, all leadership in the Moore Science Temple of America, past, present, and future. I'd like to give honors to my leadership, Brother L. Porticell. I'd like to give honors to Sister Sheikah's, Grand Sheikah's in Porticell, and I'd like to give honors to our administration. I'd like to give honors to our guest, Brother Sharif Anael-Bey. I'd like to give honors and to him and his special staff. I like to give honors to everybody in the chat, and I like to give honors to this breath that we're being given to demonstrate this truth that we want to bring to the people. And without further ado, we have once again our brother and our friend, our comrade, our brother in arms, Sharif Anael-Bey. It's good to see you, brother.
Likewise, brother. Good to be back. Took a little
Yes,
break,
sir.
right?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
I want to
Yes,
do the same, brother. I want to rise giving praise to Allah, Almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, but closer to us than our jugular vein, right?
yes, sir.
Honor to the last prophet in these days, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Savior of humanity. We
Praise
give him
God.
honor. You know what I mean? Because when man honors man, he honors who? His Father God, Allah. Because man and Allah are one.
Yes, sir.
Honor all that you've given honor to. I want to honor my leadership, Brother R. Jones Bay, Grand Sheikah Moderator of the Moore Science of America Incorporated. Honor his assistant, Brother A. Hopkins Bay. And I want to give honors again to Let's Think Podcast, its host and co-host.
Praise
I want to
God.
give honors to the viewers and the subscribers.
Yes, sir.
Give honors to them.
We give honors to all of you. Appreciate your participation and your support. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have. Oh man. First and foremost, let me give a couple shout outs right quick before we get started, brother. We have already in the room. We got Rico Suave, Islam, Islam, beloved. We got Spirit High. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. Uh, what is that? I don't want to butcher the name. Alan Carter, peace and blessings. Awareness Daily, man, he's always in the corner.
Always.
Always in
Always.
peace to the God.
We get started,
Peace
brother.
to the
Yeah.
God. Rich Neil Bay, come on, how can we not mention you?
There
Yes,
you
sir. Hashtag Islamism. Yes, sir. Hashtag Noble Jew Ali. Matter of fact, put prophet on that, brother. Put some respect on that name. Islam, Islam, Islam.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but today we got a very special dialogue. very much very much geared and
Yeah.
planned for the education of our people because the conversation we're about to have and the reality behind it has affected many of us, myself included. Um, and for for probably just like I'm probably just like the chat. A lot of this information, though, it is not as new as we would think.
Come on. Ha, ha.
You know,
Right.
we're just not in the know.
Right.
So this is going to be a learning experience for me,
For sure.
and be at the will of Allah. I know it's going to be a very great learning experience for everyone in the chat.
Yes.
So, brother, first and foremost, before you jump into your presentation, I want you to, give us a backdrop on the dialogue we're about to have.
For sure. But before that, I want to give a couple other shout outs. I see
Ishmael Bey.
You see him. See,
Yes.
I must bear witness. What I'm about to present is decades old, people, in terms of research. This research began when I was a freshman in college in the year 1990.
Mm-hmm.
And our brother Ishmael Bey was there. He was a part of the research team. He was there. Everything that I'm going to be speaking on today, he
Yes,
saw
sir.
with his own eyes. He could bear witness. Shout out to Brother Ishmael-Bey. I want to give a shout to the in our organization, More Science of America Incorporated, the lieutenant for the Eastern region, and the chairman of my branch temple, Brother T. Berry Bay. I see him in the audience. I see him in the
Islam, Islam,
I see
beloved.
our brother Janoy in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And of course, Rico Suave, that's Brother C. Anael-Bey. You spoke with him earlier on the phone a couple days
Yes,
ago.
sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
him.
Yes, sir.
Brother Neil
Islam
Bay,
to the
Islam
brother.
to the brother. I see William Randall in the chat.
Yes, sir. Islam.
Aaron I in the chat.
Yes,
Listen,
sir. Octavia Allen Carter. Octavia Adam Carter.
Yes.
Octavia Allen Carter. That's the it's the correct pronunciation.
Yes, sir.
And I want to give an honors to you in the chat.
Listen, this information is sensitive for a reason other than the title.
Yeah.
All you all have to do is just extend the logic of what's being presented to the modern time, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to say exactly because I don't want my brother's channel getting flagged.
Right.
All right. Y'all know. I think that's all we need to say about that.
Yes, sir. I wanted to say, man, the reason why, because you brought this particular dialogue to me, along with a screenshot that was most definitely enlightening.
Yes, sir.
In light of the conversation and the information that that you're about to present. Yes. However, on the topic, which you'll see, which everybody will see, my family is a victim of.
Brother, I would venture to say that the majority of us on this show right now have casualties.
Yes, sir.
In this demonstration, from this demonstration, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
sir. I would, and real quick, I'm gonna, for a quick laugh. My brother Ishmael's gonna laugh because you laughed a few minutes ago before we got on the air. I just got to demonstrate to y'all how old this research is. Y'all remember these back in the day? Y'all remember? Y'all remember? Okay, that's how old this is.
Yeah.
Overhead projectors. All right.
But you know what that shows?
Yes, sir.
That you're a genuine researcher.
Praise the Lord.
Listen, that's
some
exactly
of this stuff,
what it shows.
I gotta tell you, brother, some of this stuff, first of all, besides, this is when you had to be outside. You couldn't point click. There was no point click.
Yes, sir.
You had to really be outside with it. You had to really go to research facilities and get hard copies. That's what you had to do. And I have to tell you, some of this stuff took us months to find because it wasn't where it was supposed to be.
I can imagine, bro.
Word is bond. It was not where it was supposed to be.
I mean, when we look at history, is the prophet where he's supposed to be?
He said he was coming like a thief.
My point exactly, man. So it's most definitely, this dialogue is going to be very special to me. So,
shout out to Brother Omar Hill. Shout out to
sir.
Sister C. Carter Bay. I see her in the chat.
Islam, sister.
Yeah.
Islam,
New York is in the building.
Please hit that like button as you come in. Don't forget to hit the like button for your brothers.
Yes, sir.
Islam, because we definitely want to get this information. We want to get this streaming to the algorithm. Islam. Praise Allah.
Listen, bro, let's just jump in. I'm ready.
Sir.
Yeah.
Let me pull you up right now. You locked and loaded.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Oh. Here we go. Most definitely.
So while our brother's pulling this up, I'll begin with this. My freshman year in college, We had a summer program, you know, I'm a poor kid, right? So I couldn't afford Syracuse University outright. What
You
happened?
and your graphics talking about it wasn't that much graphics, it wasn't no artwork. Yes, it is.
So anyway, I did a research paper in one of the summer program classes for my prior to my freshman year. Islam, brother man, I see you, brother McGriff. Yeah,
Islam, brothers.
It's
How y'all
love,
doing?
beloved.
good to
Yes,
see
sir,
you.
all is well.
Good to see
So
y'all, brothers.
I did a presentation, or I wrote a paper on HIV, and admittedly the paper was a bad paper. It wasn't good. I asked more questions than I gave answers, and what it was basically I was pointing to it being a conspiracy, right? My professor at the time in that class, yeah, I didn't get a good grade, but he went through extra lengths to shoot holes in my paper, and it was to the point where it was vindictive.
Oh man.
It was, and I called a real attitude. Like, you know what? You know, I called a real attitude. Like, oh, really? That's how we doing this? So I doubled down, and I went back to the drawing board with my paper. What's wrong with my paper? I said, well, first of all, it sounds like conspiracy theory stuff. Even if what you're presenting people, even if it has merit, it's methodology now. You have to shout out to my brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. See, it's not just enough to be scholarly to have information. You got to have a methodology. Right. So I realized that's what I was lacking. I said, so this is what I said to myself. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit while the brother, pulls this up. But I said, okay, let's start with my premise. HIV is some kind of conspiracy. All right. Well, if it was that, where would be the last places I would go for factual, accurate information? Probably the very places they tell you to go, like the CDC or the Red Cross. We're going to get to that. So I said, well, what would okay, Mr. Fist pumping, dashiki wearing, I'm telling my age by saying that. But anyway, fist pumping, radical. If it's conspiracy, what would be a more technical term for this type of warfare against our people? The more technical term would be warfare engaged by the use of what? A microbe, a germ. What is the more technical term for that? Oh, biowarfare.
Biowarfare. Silent wars.
That's where I began.
Silent weapons for silent wars.
There you go. So that's where I began. And I pulled up a book, which is in one of my slides. I pulled up a book. I found a book called Gene Wars. Military Control Over the New Genetic Technologies by a man named Charles Pillar. And guess where there's a whole chapter dedicated in that book to? Guess what the title is?
What is that?
Ethno-specific biological warfare. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he cites in the paper, he actually brings up, he says, oh, while HIV, he goes, while he's not saying that HIV is that, it definitely falls within the possibility. That's what he said in the book. And he referenced military review journals that talk about ethno-specific biological warfare. Now, this is deep, what I'm about to say. They admit, at least at that time, that there is no germ or microbe or whatever that can cleanly distinguish between the races. He said, but it's not necessary to do so. This is the terminology they use. They said, through selective deployment and the special selection of people for special missions. Let me explain that military jargon. Let me explain that. The brother lives in North Carolina, brother Sheik 7. We bombed that area with a biological agent. But we don't tell people we bombed them with a biological agent. We just say, oh, they sick over there. And what happens? They get ostracized. That's where it's twofold, bro. The damage happens two ways. You get sick and you don't get help. How about that?
Mm.
Leave you stranded.
Stay away from me.
What about the term high risk group?
Mm.
Okay. See it now?
In high risk areas and communities.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna get way ahead of myself, but I'm just gonna ask you all a couple simple questions. Most of you all, I'm pretty sure all of you have had at one point or another an HIV test, right?
Yes, sir.
Here's my question to you. You had to do a little questionnaire before you got the test, am I correct?
For sure.
Why were they asking you these questions? To determine whether you were in a low risk group or a high risk group. Since when does sociology determine medicine?
It ain't supposed to have nothing to do with each other, right?
Two separate fields of study.
You should feel the science. You have to be, I mean, and it's called a profession in the both. You know.
What if I told you that a positive or a negative depended upon which group you fit in? Oh yeah.
They break it down like that,
brother.
Oh my, a medical apartheid. Whew.
We're gonna get to all of that, but
Hey,
brother, pull this up. Let's go.
Islam T. Berry Bay, pre-social media researcher. He definitely is a pre-social media researcher. Straight outside with his feet on the pavement, most definitely. So without further ado, we're gonna get to this.
Yes,
because I'm ready. I'm ready for this one.
Yeah. Again, shout out to my brother Anael-Bey, man. He was with us. He was a part, not just with us, he was a part of the team. We actually, at one point, one of the student organizations in Syracuse University. Yep, we can see it. Can you go do presentation mode on it?
Yes, sir. Yes, right. Sir. I'm trying to find it right. Here we go.
There we go. We did a one of the student organizations. Yeah, one of the student organizations at Syracuse University was called the Student African American Society, SAS. At one point, they brought us in, and when I say us, Ishmael was part of the team, and we were called the Black Student Committee on AIDS Research and Education. The acronym: Be Scared.
Yeah. Be scared.
Yeah.
Be scared.
Be scared.
Oh man. Oh my. Oh boy. That's a different. Yeah, you should be. Let them tell you should be.
But not for the reasons that the mainstream may think. I have to say that.
Yes.
All right. What are we studying here? Or the title of this presentation: Gain of Function, the Laboratory Origins of AIDS HIV. I have to tell you that, brother, we talked about this before we got on the air, Brother Sheik 7, about the sensitive nature of this because of a more previous pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This title page may cause more problems than anything else I present. And you already know that this presentation is receipt heavy. This presentation is data heavy. I'm going to tell everybody ahead of time, take screenshots of the slides.
I'm telling you, please do, because it's one of those. Most definitely one of those. Go ahead and get your receipts now.
Yep.
You know, buckle your seat belts. Go get you something. We're gonna give you a chance to hit the like button.
Yes.
We're gonna give you a chance to go get you a little something to drink right quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take a couple minutes to do that right quick. Because we finna go there, and it's definitely finna go there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely finna go there.
Oh yeah.
And go ahead and clear your minds. You know what I'm saying? Clear your minds, because
listen, you all have heard the term more in recent years: gain of function. You've heard it associated with something else.
All
right. That's all I'm going to say because we don't want our brother's channel to get flagged.
Right.
All right, so you already know. See, you've heard that term before, gain of function. But we've heard it, but have we ever really researched it or even looked into what that really means? What gain of function really means? Let's see the next slide, brother.
Let's go.
Gain of function research. This, brother, this is the definition. Woo! When I saw the definition, it made me shudder. Refers to the serial passaging of microorganisms to increase their transmittability, virulence, immunogenicity, and host tropism by applying selective pressure to a culture. Mind you, people, we gotta contextualize. This is biological talk. This is the art of language for biologists. So when we say culture, we're not talking social culture. What are we talking when we say culture? Let's look at this bottom. A system of descent with modifications. More specifically, a grouping of cells grown and preserved for the purpose of experimentation. For example, HeLa cells. Anybody know the history of HeLa cells, where they came from? Let's talk about it. There was a sister.
Henrietta Lacks.
You already know, my guy.
I thought I got the book in here.
Brother, can you tell him about Henrietta Lacks?
The immortal. Well, from just off memory, she got sick and they started running tests on her, and somehow when they started running tests, they realized her cells would never die, so she had immortal cells. And from that day on, they started doing like medications. All medications pretty much came from her cells, and they're still using the cell to this day, to my knowledge.
All human tissue cell cultures used in the laboratory for experimentation are Henrietta Lacks cells. That's why they're called HeLa cells.
And they never compensated her family or her for that too, for the record.
No.
For the record.
That's what a HeLa cell is, people. Anytime you're talking human tissue cell cultures used for experimentation,
it's hers.
It's hers.
And that's crazy to this day. And correct me if I'm wrong, she transitioned late 40s, 50s maybe?
That's a fact.
So they're still from the 40s to the 50s, they're still using her cells to test to this day.
That's a fact. You good? Sheik 7, you good?
Oh yes, sir.
hey, Mo, here we go. Hey, boom.
What they say? What they be saying? What the youngest be saying? I'm over here tweaking.
Yeah.
Only tweaking, bro.
Okay, next slide. That had to be mentioned for a reason. Yes, so we're going to come back to it. This is an overview of this presentation, people. Remember what I said earlier about this whole conspiracy theory thing? When they can label what you're presenting conspiracy theory, it's easy to throw you on the shelf. It's easy to sideline you. It's easy to discredit you. This is not conspiracy theory. This is book, chapter, and verse research. So you're seeing the outline right here of what we're going to present. There was a request in 1969 for funding for this thing. There was an order of production in 1972 for this thing. Hold on, let me just stop right there. Sheik Anael, you saw some of the presentation ahead of time. Am I lying or am I exaggerating or what?
Well, Ain't no exaggeration and ain't no fabrication.
That's right.
Hey, what the youngest say? This real rap.
It's real rap. It's real rap.
No cap.
No cap.
That's right. No cap. Right, for sure. Announcement of preliminary technology development. In other words, there were to make this thing possible, there had to be certain scientific developments. Oh, we present that what that is. And then the emergence of viruses that shouldn't exist. Okay, Sheikh Anael, you thought you were tweaking? Wait till you get to those slides. And then look, deployment. This is where your brother Ish, the brother asked me the question. I said Ish was there. Ish was there in the person when we ran the Red Cross off of Syracuse University campus. He said, "Yo, how you do that?" I said, "Yo, I'm gonna tell it on the air." I'm gonna tell it on the air. Yeah, it had to do with deployment. And then the one man who literally cracked the whole thing wide open in 1983 and 1984, actually 1982. And his name was Dr. Robert Strecker. And then the last slide is the new, what we could call, there's more to it than that. But all right, next slide. So there's a picture of the book I mentioned to you all earlier, Gene Wars. Get the book. See, that book helps to square you on the proper narrative to look at it. See, if you look at it from the perspective that was given by Dr. Robert Gallo when he received the Nobel Peace Prize for isolating the virus, listen to me close, and he called it human T-cell lymphotrophic virus number 3, and then quickly changed the name to HIV-1. Dr. Robert Gallo said publicly that it most likely came from a green monkey in Africa. See, what do these things do for the common people who don't read scientific journals? It sets a parameter for your thinking. Yeah.
Because that always been the conversation.
Ain't that something, bro?
I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it on there. I'm not gonna say it because how it was said to me, I was about to. I'm not gonna say it.
Like I said to Sheikh Anael earlier, Mo, all y'all have to do is follow the bouncing ball.
Just
follow the line of logic, people. We ain't gotta say it, but we mean it.
Yeah.
We got to be sensitive with that right. One.
We ain't gotta say it, but we mean it.
Yes, sir.
Next slide.
You want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, here we go, people. Here we go. Here's the congressional request for funding. House Bill 15090, Tuesday, July 1st. That should be a first. That's a typo in my slide. I apologize. Tuesday, July 1st, 1969. I know Ishmael is just like, he probably got goosebumps because we've been looking at this stuff since 1991. Word. Let's look at it. Department of Defense appropriations for 1970. Hearings before a subcommittee on the Committee of Appropriations of the House of Representatives, 91st Congress. First session. Part 5, Research, Development, Test, and Evaluation for the Department of the Army. Now let's look at page 129 of this report, people. What's the heading?
Synthetic biological agents.
Okay, Brother McGriff, I want you to read that first paragraph.
There are two things about the biological agent field I would like to mention. One is the possibility of technological surprises. Molecular biology is a field that is advancing very rapidly. Eminent
biologists believe
that within a period of 5 to 10 years, it will be possible to produce a synthetic biological agent, an agent that does not naturally exist and for which no natural immunity could have been acquired.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said, bro. I did the
Exists for
same
but
thing.
which no natural immunity.
Could have been acquired. Yeah, you read it right.
You read it right.
You read it right. Yeah, you
Brother
read that right.
Except there, look at Brother McGriffith, who's tweaking now, right?
Yeah, who's tweaking now?
Look at point number 2 that Dr. MacArthur makes. Within the next 5 to 10 years, it would probably be possible to make a new infective microorganism which could differ in certain important aspects from any known disease-causing organisms. Most important of these is that it might be refractory to the immunological and therapeutic processes upon which we depend to maintain our relative freedom from infectious disease.
The immune system, lymphatic system.
A research program to explore the feasibility of that could be completed in approximately 5 years at a total cost of $10 million.
Oh. Yo, they got a cost for the demo.
Hold on. Let's look at the bottom where it says, it is a highly controversial issue and there are many who believe such research should not be undertaken, lest it lead to yet another method of massive killing of large populations. Here was the problem. Here was the problem that they were faced with at that time, 1969. The technology existed. It just didn't exist under the auspices of the military. Civilian agencies had the tech.
Wait a minute.
Okay, follow me, Sheik 7. Brother Ish has heard this hundreds of times. He already knows where I'm going. Here we go. What was the hub for biological and chemical warfare for the Department of the Army? Fort Detrick, Maryland. Do you know what happened in 1970, people? Fort Detrick closed. Guess what opened up on the same grounds? A civilian agency called the National Cancer Institute.
So they demoed the whole situation.
What they did, you said it, Mo. You said it. You said it.
You know,
they said all we got to do is buy the civilians. Civilian. So military-backed civilian research. Next slide.
Whoa.
Okay, civilian request of the order. This document was not where it's supposed to be. I promise you it wasn't. Bulletin to the World Health Organization. Volume number 47. Here's the problem. There was actually volume number 47s.
Yes, sir. See
all
how
right,
tricky they get.
Brother McGriffith. Okay, hold on. Back up. Let me back up. Remember something I need you all to remember very clearly. In grade school biology, what did we learn about viruses? Repeat after me. Viruses do not jump the species barrier naturally.
Viruses do not
jump the species barrier naturally. In other words, layman's terms, you don't have a virus that's infecting a cow. Then all of a sudden it starts affecting humans and no longer cows. That don't happen naturally. Okay. Read, Brother McGriffith, please read the title of that paper.
Hold on, where we at? Oh, virus-associated immunopathology.
Immunopathology.
Pathology, animal models, and implications for human disease. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Read it again, brother.
Associated.
Brother, read page 259, far right. I have a star by it. Though that's my underlines, by the way, because it's on the original document. Read that, please.
An attempt should be made to assurance that whether viruses can be in fact exert selective effects on immunity functions by depressing 7S versus 19S antibody or by affecting T cell function as opposed to B cell function.
Pause right there. What are we looking at?
Looking at HIV, bro.
Keep reading now. Keep reading.
Possibility should also be looked into the immune response to virus may itself be impaired if the infection virus damage more or less selectively the cells responsible to the viral antigens.
Okay. What do we know about HIV? What does it eat, people?
The immune system.
It eats the very thing your body sends to it to defend itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what that says.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the order. That's the actual order for the virus.
Attention, man.
Listen to the language. An attempt should be made to ascertain whether viruses can, in fact, exert selective effects on immune function by depressing 7S versus 19S antibody or by affecting T cell function as opposed to B cell function.
No, keep going, Mo.
The possibility should also be looked into that the immune response to the virus may itself be impaired if the affecting virus damages more or less selectively the cells responding to the viral antigen. Good God Almighty.
Brother Sheik 7, let's do a quick reminder. Let's go back to slide number 2, brother.
It said more or less.
More or less selectively. Let's look at that definition of gain of function again.
Refers to the serial passaging of microorganisms to increase their transmittability, virulence,
immunogenicity,
and host tropism by applying selective pressure to a culture.
See why that definition is so important, people? All right. Slide, where we at? Slide number 7. Go to 7. Remember what we said about there had to be certain technological breakthroughs for this to be made possible, people? Mm-hmm. Remember what we said about grade school biology, that viruses do not naturally jump the species barrier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're looking at the announcement of success in that area. That paper by Stuart Aronson at the National Cancer Institute.
What?
Look at the paper.
Ain't this bad?
No profanity even in the mildest form, Sheik 7. I know I gotta hold mine back too. Here we go. Look at the abstract. I'll read it. Growth of serologically distinct murine RNA tumor viruses in human cells results in the acquisition of common viral surface antigens that are genetically stable. The altered viruses are able to replicate much more efficiently than the parent viruses in human cells. These findings can best be interpreted on the basis of recombination of viral and human genetic information. What is that saying in layman's terms? The word murine means mouse. They adapted viruses that cause tumors in mice to now stably replicate themselves in human tissue. Now you also see why our sister Henrietta Lacks is so important. Yo, I felt the heaviness of both y'all's exhales. Wow.
So, I don't know how to ask this question. Like I really don't even know how to ask this question. I have it here, but this I don't even.
Yeah.
Well, so for educational purposes, I'm gonna say
Go
it
ahead,
like
brother.
this. So pretty much, they're using her tissue cells to pretty much battle whatever is out there.
Well, they're doing that, but in this specific case, they're doing that anytime they want to test something on human tissue in the lab. That's
Right.
what cells are using. But in this specific case, they used their cells to adapt foreign viruses to human tissue.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened.
He's some vicious people, boy.
That was the announcement. This paper was the announcement. Next slide.
It's like it's so many questions you want to ask. Like,
It's a lot of questions, but I'm gonna be honest with you. The way he laying it out, it's pretty clear what's going on.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. It definitely is pretty clear. Like it's like I said, it's in black and white.
So remember when I mentioned that Robert Strecker? I'm sorry. I messed up. Sorry. Yo, listen. Sorry. I have to apologize. I made a mistake. That slide should not say Robert Strecker. That slide should say Robert Gallo. I just need to say that. I made a mistake.
Gallo.
Because I was rushing. That should say Robert Gallo, not Robert Strecker. Dr. Robert Gallo, who received the Nobel Peace Prize for isolating HIV, said publicly that the virus most likely came from a green monkey in Africa. Keep that name in mind, Robert Gallo, Gallo.
Gallo.
You see this scientific paper right here.
Mm-hmm.
Human AIDS virus not from monkeys. So why in the world would this top geneticist say that to the public?
Spookism.
You could say that, yeah. Let's go to the next slide.
It's called narrative and propaganda.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go to the next slide. Okay. Emergence of viruses that should not exist. Unique characteristics, morphology, and magnesium dependency. This is important. All right. Let's look at the far left.
Mm-hmm.
Characterization and molecular cloning of a bovine lentivirus related to what? HIV.
Oh, man.
What is bovine?
I never even heard of that.
Bovine is a cow.
Oh, characterization and molecular cloning of a cow. A virus related to AIDS.
Okay, look at the names of the authors and the scientists who put this, who wrote this paper, who contributed to the paper, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Look under their names and tell me where this took place, the research took place.
Laboratory of Cell and Molecular Structure and Biological Products, Laboratory Program, Resources, Inc., National Cancer Institute, Frederick,
Maryland.
But what that?
Where Fort Detrick used to be before 1970. You remember what you said about the Debo?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, they Debo for sure.
All right, now let's look at the paper on the right.
Department of Cancer Biology, Harvard School of Public Health.
No, not that. That was another paper. Look at the bottom under there. The sequence homology and what?
Morphologic similarity of HTLV3 and Visna virus,
a pathogenic okay. So we got two papers that are saying HIV. HTLV3 is HIV, by the way. But why did they call it HTLV3? Why did they call it originally human T-cell lymphotrophic virus number 3? And why did Robert Gallo change it to HIV-1? We're going to get to that. We got two papers here saying that HIV is related to a cow virus and a sheep virus, because that's what Visna means, by the way, people.
It's related to a sheep virus and a cow virus. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where we're going to go next is even stranger than fiction, people. Remember what we said. Bovine relates to what? A cow.
Cow.
Visna relates to what?
Sheep.
Next slide.
The language of the times.
Read the upper left corner of the title of that paper.
Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine, Volume 81, October 1988.
Origins. Oh.
Keep reading.
Bovine isnovirus and the origin of
Stop. We don't even have to read the rest. Bovine relates to what?
Sheep.
A cow. Visna relates to what?
Visna.
A sheep.
Oh yeah.
And the origin and
hold on. How in the world does a bovine Visna virus exist?
Right.
Not supposed to.
So,
not affecting humans.
No, it's not supposed to exist at all. How can a cow sheep virus exist?
Right, because it's not. It's not supposed to jump to species.
Not naturally.
Didn't we just go back to the previous slide, people?
God almighty.
I got two papers here saying from the same place, National Cancer Institute, saying that HIV is related. One paper says HIV is related to a cow virus. And another one that's saying HIV is related to a sheep virus. Two separate papers. Okay? Hold on. So look at the paper on the right. Sequence homology and morphologic similarity. What does morphologic mean? It looks the same. All right. Next slide. Go back to the next slide. I need you all to look at the bottom left of the slide for where it says references. Who's referenced in this paper? Look at number 3.
I can't read it. It's so small. But the sequence of homology and morphoric similarities of H.
The paper we were just looking at. But look whose names are on it. You see Robert Gallo's name there?
Hold on. How can I scroll down? What is going on?
You see, look, there's 3 names next to number 3. There's an M.A. Gonda. There's a Florence Wong Style.
Oh, there's a Gallo RC. Yeah.
RC Gallo.
Yes, sir. I see it.
Now let's go back to the title of this paper. Bovine Visna virus and the origin of HIV. This is the same guy that told the public that it most likely came from a green monkey.
And then neither one of them got nothing to do with either one of them.
Do you know who was the head director of the National Cancer Institute?
Who, brother?
Want to take a wild guess?
R.C. Gallo.
Thank you, brother. Look at the paper on the right.
The Journal of General Virology. Infection of human cell cultures with God.
So first, what you do is you through recombinant DNA technology, you take a virus that causes encephalitis, in other words, brain rot cancer in sheep. You take a virus that causes cancer, leukemia, in cows.
Mm-hmm.
You splice it together, and then you grow that virus in human cells until it now adapts to human cells. See that? Y'all good?
Yeah. I'm just over here thinking because I watch a lot of those, old war documentaries, and they talk about stuff like this, but they never talk about it, in this form. You see,
Right.
And just replaying all of those conversations that they had on not just this subject here, but just the wars at that time. You thinking, yeah.
See, again, we are taken for stupid, right? We don't read scientific journals because we don't believe we're smart enough to read them. They didn't even hide it, did they?
They proudly put this out.
Ain't even hide it.
Bro.
It's crazy. What you thinking, Brother Sheik 7?
Oh, this is crazy, bro.
Yeah.
I'm reading this, man, like it says fibroblastoid cells cultures derived from leukemic bone marrow are successfully infected with
a virus that should never exist.
After 2 months of subcultivation, the cultures show the appearance
of foci of altered cells suggestive of malignant. What do you got? Let's back up to the 60s. Let's back up. There was a scientific paper written. I can't remember the name of it, but I have it in my references that you all can take a screenshot of later. Basically, this reference, the guy was basically saying to those who are about to die, we salute you. This is what they've said. Because of the new recombinant DNA technologies, they said one day you're going to go outside and it ain't going to be the common cold that jumps on you. It's going to be contagious cancer.
Think, people. Think.
Yeah.
Think.
Yeah. Janoy asked the brother in the chat, he said, how does one get access to scientific journals? Nowadays, they're online, brother. We just don't read them. So look at the Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine. You can find them online and get the abstracts. Matter of fact, nowadays, they have Google Scholar. They're all up there. Ain't that something? Vash Bay, we're going to talk about that. I see the question you just asked. We're going to talk about that. Ain't this crazy? Remember what I told y'all? This ain't conspiracy theory.
Not at all.
Nah, not conspiracy theory. Next slide. Now we get to talk about deployment.
Huh.
So let me tell the story. Again, shout out to Anael-Bey. So there was a point in Syracuse University, the Student African American Society, the then president of it, was bringing Dr. What's his name? Leonard Jeffries up to speak. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, they were bringing him up to speak, and the student Zionists I have to say it right, but that's not what they call themselves, but the student Jewish organization protested. They went crazy. So, of course, they called us to aid and assist, right? So they did a press conference. The president, right? The president of the Student African American Society at that time. And he said something that we didn't quite agree with. He threw us in the pot, so to speak, but it provided an opportunity. He said, we're going to prove that the Jews committed genocide against Black people by creating AIDS. Why he say that? He goes, and we got a research team that can prove it. I'm like, oh, we ain't saying that. It's not what we saying. But you can't unring the bell. So that hit the papers. The very next day, we get a call from the Red Cross. They want to meet with the research team. They ended up meeting with me and Ishmael Bey on Syracuse University campus. So, of course, we play slow. Now this is here we go. Follow me, people. Two people representing the Red Cross came to visit us. One was a doctor. The other was the PR representative. Which one is the most dangerous?
The public relation.
You better believe it.
Oh, for sure.
You better believe it. You better believe it. So we all meet in the closed room. We play, you sit back. Let them talk. We want to hear what you all have to say. And so they're like, we're so happy that they played the nice guy thing. We're so happy that you're helping to raise awareness about HIV and da 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 and da 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 and da 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 da, right? And the doctor would chime in and say some things. We said, so okay. They start talking about origin and all this other stuff, and we're listening. And then we start to chime in. We give a little bit here, a little bit there, to let them know, yeah, we know a little something. We're not geneticists. We're not even biology majors. So, of course, they're still kind of looking down on us like, yeah, you little poor, you dumb Negroes. Until the doctor said this. He said, yes, this is a very interesting virus. Very interesting. There's a lot of interesting things about this virus. That was his way, I think. Wait a minute, I think these guys know a little more than they're letting on. So that was his way of cracking the door open for us. So we start saying things like this. Oh, like viruses don't naturally jump the species barrier, and this one, right? Oh, the fact that Dr. Robert Gallo said it came from a green monkey, but we know in Africa, but we know that the virus didn't spread from the jungles to the cities in Africa. It spread from the cities to the jungles. And how were the numbers almost equal? Not equal, but the spread, it spread almost simultaneously in the United States, Japan, and Central Africa. What was the monkey, a jet pilot?
That's a lot of miles.
Man, he had Scotty on the Enterprise with the transporter to do it that quick. Right? And so the doctor's looking at us and he's starting to smile. And then the PR lady says, oh yeah, well, again, you all can help us and work with us to increase awareness about HIV. So we said, wait a minute. According to all the scientific research, the numbers don't go down. You're here monitoring on campus HIV every year. The numbers don't go down. They always go up. So what are you really monitoring?
If that wasn't a question,
right.
But the bomb, because we were like, well, so how did this thing? Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. We said, how are you able to tell the difference between HIV-1 and HIV-2? And why did he call it HTLV-3 and then rename it HIV-1? You know what the doctor said? Wait a minute. No, that wasn't it. This was the question. You ready? Why is it considered at that time a heterosexual disease in Africa, but a homosexual disease in the United States? That was the question. Let me repeat it. Remember when the whole thing hit the public in the United States? It was called gay cancer.
Yes.
It was considered almost exclusively a homosexual disease. But the numbers in Africa were all heterosexual. How'd that happen? The doctor said, right? And we were talking about the difference between HIV-1 and HIV-2. He said, well, we don't have the technology. I forgot exactly how he put it. But then we were talking about the whole difference between heterosexual and homosexual in the United States and Central Africa. That's when he said, this is a very interesting, there's a lot of interesting things surrounding this virus. We said, oh yeah, we think this is the reason. And the paper on the right, which is a newspaper article on this slide, is what we handed them. That's when they hightailed it up at it. No, actually, the doctor gave us his business card, and he literally said, yeah, I'll take you guys out for a drink and we could talk. He knew what time it was. He said, okay, they're not dumb. But that PR lady got up out of there. What you're looking at on the right is arguably some of the most censored journalism in the history of Western journalism. Let's talk about what happened. The World Health Organization, the same people that I showed you the paper of that made the order for the virus, the World Health Organization developed a smallpox eradication program in Central Africa, 8 countries in Central Africa. And they developed a new experimental vaccine for it. They inoculated millions in 8 Central African countries. Those same numbers popped up HIV positive. They got spooked and hired an independent investigator to investigate whether the HIV emergence had any connection to their smallpox vaccination program. The guy did his report and then disappeared. In 1987, 3 years after this thing hit mainstream, the science editor for the London Times newspaper, his name was Pierce Wright, was at his desk, and that investigator came in and said, you want to really know what's going on with this HIV thing? And put his report on his desk. What you're looking at in this slide is the title of the article in the London Times newspaper Sunday edition, May 11th, 1987. That article ran all over the world except where?
United States of America.
Absolutely. Okay. We've answered one half of the deployment question. What about the other half? You see this book on the left, AIDS and the Doctor's Death by Dr. Alan Cantwell Jr.? Guess what he outlines in the book? A similar experimental vaccine program run by the New York Blood Center and the Red Cross. The vaccine was for hepatitis C. Hepatitis C is a blood-borne infection. Hepatitis C is running rampant through what community, people?
The Asiatic community.
The LGBTQ community.
Yeah. Damn.
Mainly males. Almost predominantly males. Listen close. In this book, it outlines the criteria to participate in the vaccine trials. Here's the criteria. You ready? Male between the age, I think, 18 and 44, something like that. Homosexual. Promiscuous with more than one partner. That was the criteria. It took place at the New York Blood Center, and then it was duplicated in Los Angeles.
That's when in history they get the some of the origins that a lot of that started in the bathhouses of California.
Ta-da. So, deployment, How did it happen, people? Remember what we talked about in the military review journals? Selective targets.
That's interesting that you bring it up again. because yet again, I was listening to one of those war documentaries, and guess where else they did a study like that at? India.
Where? Yes.
And where?
India.
That's
I
fact.
think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like malaria or something like that jumped off out there, and the vaccines that they was giving them was actually it like modified their bodies, like
Yes.
to the point to where like they couldn't even walk no more. Like some of them people couldn't even walk.
Right.
Like,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and I think the study came out that, again, people can go look this up. I'm just going off just memory as of now. But it came out that the vaccine that they was giving them, reversed their whole system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This thing, listen, this thing is real. Now when we put this in their hands during that meeting, that's when they got up out of Dodge. Yeah. And Ishmael Bey is right. At that time, the alphabet people it wasn't even, they weren't even keeping it quiet. They was letting us know that they had eyes on us in that time period. That's fact. Next slide.
Oh, that kicked off in another group too. That was during the wars of the late 60s.
Yes.
Out there in Cambodia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thailand, Philippines, that area. A lot of that stuff kicked off.
Yes, sir.
During that time period, and then,
yeah, bro,
brought it back home.
Brought it back, yeah,
and with the other stuff too.
With the other things, that's a fact. So this guy right here was the Sherlock Holmes of this whole thing. He and his brother. R.I.P. to his brother. So this is Dr. Robert Strecker. So he and his brother, Dr. Robert Strecker is an epidemiologist. He's a doctor, scientist. His brother was an attorney, Theodore Strecker. Together they formed what was called the Strecker Group. What they would do is they contracted themselves out to do research and development, R&D, for insurance companies and other things. So an insurance company back in the 80s approached them, I'm talking early 80s, like 82, approached them about putting together the possibility to research the feasibility of an insurance package to offer to people with the gay cancer. Now, remember, he's a scientist. So what do you think he's reading? Scientific journals. He does his research, comes back and says, there is no way in the world, there is no way in the world you're going to be able to develop an insurance package for anybody who gets this. No way. And at the time he did this was when, 1984, when it started to come out into the public officially. Robert Gallo wins the Nobel Peace Prize and all this other stuff. And he's looking at this going, we know who he is. None of what they're saying in the public has anything to do with what's in these scientific journals. Uh-oh, something going on. So he and his brother put together some of the literature and the receipts I just showed you in a package. A bunch more. He put together a document of scientific research. And they called it, this is a bio attack alert. They sent it to every congressman in Congress at that time. They got 3 responses. 2 responses says interesting, but I'm not interested. The then Congressman of Chicago, Douglas Huff was his name. He said, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this gets its proper due. You know what happened to him? Say after me, dead apparent suicide. Same thing happened to Robert Strecker's brother.
What?
Yeah.
A lot of researchers around that time period, or reporters, they all had the same fate.
Yep.
Especially when they was going against the status quo and the narrative of now.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Robert Strecker puts out a video, VHS in those days, called the Strecker Report or the Strecker Memorandum. You can find this on YouTube now for free.
Yes, sir.
Listen, he puts out this video. He advertises it. Guess where he advertised it, people? Jet and Ebony magazine.
Mm.
You know what he told us personally? Ishmael could tell you. You know what he told us personally?
What's that?
Not one order from Jet or Ebony magazine. Not one.
Not one order.
Not one. Somebody asked, Creative Bouncer, did anyone talk about Fort Detrick, Maryland? Of course we talked about Fort Detrick, Maryland. You mean the National Cancer Institute?
Right.
Yeah, Fort Detrick, Maryland. They just changed the signs. Next slide.
Boy, this right here serious, bro.
Take a picture of this, people. That's not even all my references, but that's enough.
Oh man. And you can just by looking at the references, you can tell that just the references alone will lead you down the rabbit hole even further. If you dare to go tiptoe.
Sure.
Yeah, because I had another question too.
Go ahead, brother.
I could be reaching.
Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, you think could this even tie into?
Oh.
All right.
Like I said, we ain't saying it, but we mean it.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on the same page with y'all. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I was, we all.
Hey, Ishmael Bey said, "What was Anthony Foss? What's his name? Fossey doing at this time?
Why he starting trouble? Why he starting trouble?
Yeah.
Why he starting trouble?
Hey, is you like the pro? You like the pro? You like to pick swords, don't he?
Yo, it's gotta behave, man.
Whoa.
Don't say it, bro, but you see it, though. Don't
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I was gonna ask that too, but I was gonna ask that backstage though.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that
you caught it?
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I caught that. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
I with all that.
Yes.
And read a little bit of that too.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. It definitely goes hand in hand.
Like I said, I wrote a book with this research and more in it back in 2007. I self-published on lulu.com. The book was called AIDS, Everything You Don't Want to Know. A few years ago, when a certain thing hit, my book disappeared.
Yep.
All right. Last slide.
Yeah, it's don't poke the bear.
Definitely ain't doing that. Definitely ain't
Yeah,
going
nobody
there.
not poking. No, nobody doing
No. You want some too, old man?
that. No.
All right. Listen, people. I'm not going to go any further, and I don't even have to say anything. You just copy down what you see on the slide and look at it yourself. I ain't going to say nothing else. I ain't going to say nothing else. Just copy down those two references. Just copy down those two references right there.
Oh, boy.
I ain't going to say nothing else. You all see the Jabbington in the background?
A lot of feathers. and it's so much. It's when I tell you so many pieces done got put together, and it's like, oh, so that's why that, and that turned into this turned into that.
Come on, brother.
And it's like, oh,
come on.
So, yeah. So
you know why this touches me like this, bro?
Go ahead, dear brother.
Is that I sit here at the age of 43 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the same virus and the same disease that we're speaking about took my mother away at the tender age of 30.
Yeah.
And to, take all of this in.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. Especially for those of us that have lost people in this, and due to this thing. It's a lot, man. Yeah.
Because as parents and as children, we no parent expects to have to bury their children.
Come on, bro.
And no child expects their parents to have to bury them.
Right.
And I'm 43. My mother didn't get to see 43.
Right. Right. This is crazy, bro. It's man. We were in those days, we were young. And when you're young, you're adventurous and you're less cautious. Matter of fact, you're downright foolhardy in some respects. I can tell you right now that I praise Allah, I'm still on this side of the grass breathing.
Praise Allah.
From some of the things that we did. Ishmael's in the chat right now talking about how we ran down on certain doctors about some other things that were related. We sure did.
And then when we think about the time frame that we're talking right here, we still can't forget that during this time there was a large surge of intravenous drug use.
Absolutely. There's so many things that I could say. I just want you all to look at those two links, people. There's so many things I could say just from that alone. You're going to be like, what? Like, for real. You're going to be like, oh, man. And not so much in the way of, oh, this is hopeless. Because it's not hopeless at all. It's not hopeless.
It's not hopeless.
Not at all. Trust me. Matter of fact, our brother was asking about treatment. When you look at the Strecker report, guess what he says at the end? He says this at the end. He proposes this idea at the end regarding treatment. Viruses are crystalline in structure. He proposed a type of high vibrational treatment that would run an interference pattern with the virus and shatter the virus and not damage the surrounding cell. Everybody look up Rife Technologies, R-I-F-E.
That's interesting that you say that, because it was a sister not too long ago. She discovered the same thing within the cancer cells. How the high vibrations and
yeah. Right.
all right.
And we got a super chat. Thanks for creating the boundless universe. For the super chat. Question is, what does the MSTA have in advocating? What part does the MST of A have in advocating this type of information to the representatives who claim to have no interest?
Okay, that's an easy one, dear brother, and I'm so glad you asked. If you could look
Omar L. Exactly, Omar L. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's vibrational medicine. But anyway,
Yes, sir.
That's vibrational medicine. But here we go. To created the balanced universe's question. Great question, brother. Can you see what's on my moniker next to my name?
Let me unshare. National Press Secretary of the MST of A Inc.
Hope that answers your question.
Yeah. The National Press Secretary. Yeah, that's your job.
There you go.
That's one of your jobs. That's a hat that you wear, brother, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, whew. You know what? See this? You know how I grab other show ideas from shows that we've done, bro, and I have no, we'll have to talk about that one back chat.
Say no more.
Yeah.
See, I got to share this, or I got to say this, and we've already kind of implied it throughout the show. Like some of you already know, viewers, that I have some associates that are involved in special access programs. Special access meaning secret programs, right? And like when you're talking about things like anti-gravity technology, UFOs, quote unquote aliens, all that stuff, to a degree, you could talk about that stuff. And, you know, you start talking about advanced technologies for medicine, that's when you that's when you go on the long vacation. Yeah. That's when that's when you get to see what the grass looks like on the other side.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man, what I want to say is though this show is very, very informative, it's also saddening.
Yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say the same thing.
It's saddening that such an assault will be taken upon human life. You know what I mean? You know, and then under the auspice of those who supposedly care.
Yeah.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
And
come on.
it just makes you think what it should do is make all of us think every time. I don't even want to say it. I'm gonna leave it.
Now, I want to say this to your point. I want to camel walk with you on that point, brother Sheik 7. Here we go. Right? The devil, and again, man is a thought of God. So is the devil.
Yes, sir.
That being said, the devil always fights a rear guard action, meaning his work doesn't start until truth is on the scene. All right.
Okay.
The devil, his power is not in murdering, killing, raping, maiming. His power is in doing those things while appearing to have the moral high ground. So with this whole thing that we just discussed here, what is the moral high ground or the illusion of moral high ground? Here it is, people. Population control. They will say there are too many people on the planet, and to prevent starvation, mass starvation, to prevent massive loss of further resources, to prevent, we got to cull the population of at least a third or more. So that is the illusion of moral high ground. We are saving humanity by killing us off a certain, you get it?
So you're gonna tell me you're gonna no man. Yeah, that's what they saying.
Mm-hmm. In chapter 43 of the Holy Quran in the Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Drew Ali speaks to that in instruction 7. This is what he says. Sayest thou that justice cannot be executed without wrong? Surely thine own words condemn thee. In the movie Kingdom of Heaven, one of my favorite movies.
Mine.
Woo! Remember at the crucial point when they were like, listen, we want Balian to star. They said, yo, the king said, we want you upon my death to take control of the army. And he said, whatever you say. And then he said, oh, there's more to it. Would you marry my sister who was the queen?
Yeah.
And for a husband, then he said, well, what happened to her husband? Oh, he's going to be killed. He said, no, I can't do that. Because he had real morality. And then he runs into her. And she said, listen, I'll keep the kingdom however I got to keep it. He said, your grandfather captured Jerusalem in blood, killed every Muslim within the walls of the city. She said, hey, I'll keep it how he did or any other way I can. What did she demonstrate? No morality. Then she said, I offer that to you and the world. And he was like this. She said, you refuse. And then he said to her, you think I'm like your husband? Mm-hmm. Woo! And you know what she did? She backed off of him and said this. The day will come when you will wish you did a little evil for a greater good. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Mo, you know my part though?
What's that?
When he first took over his father's land and everything, and he was in the process of development, yes. And the war was about to kick off because the other, they got into the squabble.
Yes.
And he was like, so when you stand before God,
come on,
what what you gonna say?
Woo.
How you gonna respond?
Woo.
Is it you gonna say they, or is it all on me?
All on me, right?
We got another
Woo, that's a mean movie, bro.
We got another super chat from Creator of the Boundless Universe. Islam, honesty, gratitude. It is said, if imitating the prophet and thinking like our forefathers and foremothers, is there a fear amongst us from pursuing and demonstrating the truth?
Great question. I'm gonna tell you, the thought literally hit me so hard I got goosebumps. Here we go. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in the 60s used to do table talks over dinner with his ministers. There was a series of table talks that he did. He told his ministers, some of them took notes. He told them what he was going to tell them they better not teach at the podium. He said, if you teach this at the podium, they will kill you outright. You know what he told them? I won't talk about it in detail here, I don't have to, but it's not a secret. You know why it's not a secret? Because the things that he said in 1968 at that table in Chicago are happening on C-SPAN right now. One of the things he said, he said that in the last conflict the United States gets in, they're going to send troops out in the thousands and they're going to come back in the tens. And they're going to come back to the United States that is no longer the United States they knew. What y'all see about this draft thing? Select this. Okay. Yo, he said this in the 60s. He also said that the last conflict will involve an Asian country and involve a Middle Eastern theater of war with another European country and an Asian country. That's what he said. And then at one point he named the Asian country. He said China. So how does that relate to the brother's question? I'll quote Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Wise words are uttered in due season.
Yes.
So what, you got the truth? Do you know when to say it? I'm going to quote a line out of Godfather 2. Power's the gun. Politics is knowing when to pull the trigger.
What's the matter with you, Santino? Never tell anybody what you're thinking outside of the family.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you think I knew that shit? You think I was up on that? Hey, y'all didn't think I was up on that one.
Woo, that's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Oh man, that was a great question. That was a great question.
That was a great question.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great question. Only gratitude for that question.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah, that was a great question. Yeah, this was a serious presentation, bro.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, man. Like, yeah.
We danced on the edge for a minute. You know what I'm saying?
We did.
I'm talking about tiptoeing.
Oh
yeah,
man. Hey, as soon as I seen certain things, I was like,
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. There's a whole lot of other things going on right there during that time period too. Yeah.
Oh man. Hey man. Hey yo, this is one. This one of the ones right here, man. It's like
my question is there a part 2 to this? Because I feel like it's a lot more to this than what you already done put out.
Hold up, man. Now you asking, you know, nobody. You want to go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah.
You heard what he just said?
Right.
You know,
it could be. I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Hey, yeah, you definitely, what you would have to do, bro, is definitely articulate that one in a special type of way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen. This is, as Prophet Drew Ali said it, the end of the times and the fulfilling of the prophecies. And we don't mean end time like from the European perspective. Because we measure time in cycle age, the end of this time. Okay? We're not talking about,
Yeah. Hey, that went over a lot of people's heads right there.
Listen.
Right.
All I want to say is, man, listen here. Chat, we thank y'all. We thank y'all for we thank y'all for your participation. We thank y'all for your support. Brothers, hold on, let me do this right quick and
Yes.
give us a couple of minutes, allow this to sit here. Because I think I don't even think I have to say it. This brother definitely came in here with the intent to demonstrate a measure that we most definitely need to hear. And he did just that very successfully, articulately,
Praise the
and
Lord.
precisely and meticulously, should
Sure.
I say. And hey, I can tell, man, that's one of your gifts is talking. Yeah, because well, you walk that line, brother.
Yes, sir.
Uh, yeah, hey, yo, I'm talking about so many things came to mind, like, yeah, you know,
Man,
Yeah, more.
yeah, man.
I'm telling you. And everything you were saying, I was just thinking it back, just sitting back, just thinking like, man, I like Netflix. I just like Netflix so much.
Yes.
And I like YouTube. And I like YouTube. And I like these places because if you looking for in the right places, you can find what you want, what you're looking for. And
But you know how they say, be careful what you ask for.
And I was coming to that too. You never gotta be careful what type of rabbit holes you open, because I was sitting in my room one night and that joint just went to water, bro. Like went straight to water. Like I was just like,
yo, that's right.
Who else? Who am I the only one looking at this?
Right.
Yeah. Am I the only one really looking at what's being presented? And hey, Mo, I gotta move my camera down a little bit so I can give you the hand gesture on how they all just be sitting when they talking. And they all just be hey, and it be so calm because it's like, oh yeah, we got into a fruit fight yesterday and it was blah 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 blah. Oh, such and such was there too. I got a bad back. I got to take it back a little bit for you. And it's like,
exactly.
Did you hear what you just said?
Right.
Like it, and then like I say, you sit back, you like, am I the only one?
Right.
There's a doc series on Netflix that they put out, and the situation happened right after. I mean, it had been out for a while.
Yes.
And it was under the radar for a while.
Yes.
And then a certain subject popped out, hit the news.
Yes.
And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Can't even find that. Can't
find the doc anymore, can you?
Can't even find it. And guess how many times I watched that doc series?
How many?
Like 3 or 4 times.
Oh, see?
Because I really wanted to know. And I was like, because it was one of those situations where I asked my granddad.
Right.
You know, me being a little kid,
and
everything that's taught about, who's the bad guy, who's the superhero.
Yes.
We always know who the superhero, who was the bad guy.
Right.
And he told me, I asked him, huh, such. He said, I'm gonna tell you this. When I hopped off that plane, everything I had went in the trash, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
So just think, I'm like, I gotta be at least about 11, 12. So it's like that always stuck in my head until that doc series came out, and I watched it like 3 or 4 times. And I really sat there and just studied it, because also too, just to put that out there, my older brother, he's a war veteran himself.
Yes.
So he fought in Afghanistan. So I just, from that question until my brother being deployed over there, I needed a full understanding on, 1, what he's looking at, 2, what will he come back as, and 3, how as a family we're gonna deal with that. So I went down the rabbit hole for a reason.
Yes.
But I really didn't know, how deep it really goes until I start running across those.
Absolutely, bro.
So that was my reasons on really doing it. And yeah,
your father blessed you with an alternative narrative, another way to think.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're looking at things like those shows and going, oh, hold on, wait. You see what I'm saying? But now it's just like in the book of Revelations when it talks about in the 10th chapter of Revelations, where the angel that put 1 foot on land and 1 foot on the water, who's clothed with a cloud and a rainbow over his head. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
1 foot on land, 1 foot on the water, said the time that was will be no more. In other words, this time is up. There's another time, but this one, this cycle is out of here, right? Mm-hmm. And he held in his hand a book written within and on the back side, sealed with 7 seals. Remember? Mm-hmm. Revelations? Okay. And what did he tell the revelator to do with that book? Eat it.
Yeah.
And he was told that in your mouth, it'll be sweet as honey. But when it hits your stomach, it's going to be bitter. The sweet as honey is, wow, look at this information. Oh, my God, I'm learning so much. The bitterness is, oh, my God, my responsibility now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
See?
And the reality that my adherence to the information and wisdom that's being disseminated to me can and will determine, my life and my death.
Come on, brother. In other words, that's another point. The bitterness is, man, I better do right by this. I better wait for the due season to utter these wise words. Because that same revelator in the book of Revelations, right? There was a voice from heaven that uttered something. And he was about to write it down. And then another voice said, seal that up. Don't write that down.
I think we got honors and gratitudes for the super chat. Janoy, great bill. Honors and gratitude.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, honors and gratitude for the love. Man, hey, Sharif, man, you always do it, man.
Always.
Hey,
bro, it's just great. I'm grateful to be useful. There you go. I'm grateful to be useful, bro.
Man, oh man.
Yep.
We got a couple shows that we done talked about. It's gonna come. But this one right here, oh man. I'm gonna just be honest with you, beloved, man. Like, it's one thing to hear a bunch of things, and speculate about things, but then when it's given to you in concrete form, ain't no, you can't buck dance around it. You got to deal with it head on. And
bro, yeah. The way my let me tell you, I ain't gonna say that. Let's just say you can't unring the bell.
You just can't, bro.
Mm-mm.
You just can't, bro. You just can't. You just can't. What up, my brother Terrain Hicks in the building, the dog,
yes, he is.
Lord in the building. Peace to the God.
Yes, he is. That's
Peace
right.
to the God.
That's right.
Man, this has been an amazing bill right here, bro.
Oh yeah.
And again, brother, this stuff, for real, bro. Myself, Brother Ishmael was on board with it. This is research from starting in 1990, 1991, bro.
That's.
And I was lecturing at a number of universities on this stuff. The last lecture I did at a university, I think, was 2007 at Long Island University, Brooklyn campus. Yep.
I got a request for the next show, and I wouldn't normally ask online at the end of a show. I normally do it in private, but I'm gonna ask for this one.
Go ahead.
Because how about we do the Real Jesus Part 2, The reality of Jesus and Mary Magdalene.
That's the one. Let's go.
That's going to be the next one.
That's the
So
one.
y'all strap your seatbelts in.
Yeah,
we're gonna deal with that secret history, and we're gonna deal with them topics they don't want to deal with. We want to deal with them topics, and we ain't being disrespectful.
No, not at all.
That they can't deal with.
Yeah.
Bottom line. That's right.
So everybody, make sure you keep tapping in. I do, and I'm gonna announce this. I do have a music video coming.
Sure do.
I do have a music video coming and it's gonna be for members only. Members only content. So, I'm not saying I'm the best rapper in the world, but
yo, listen, audience. Our brother's nice with that mic device. All right.
So we're gonna have that coming. Members only content just for the members, man. And honors and gratitude to Anthony Ford, who was our first member of our YouTube channel. Our honors and gratitude to you. I really appreciate the support. Everybody, make sure you hit the like button.
Absolutely.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Our brother Sharif Anael-Bey's Cash App is right here on the screen. Donate to the brother. Because he does take it upon himself with all great intentions and a pure heart to bring us this information that is beneficial for our growth and development and the uplifting of our people.
So, he has 2 questions.
Here's another
questions in the chat.
How does the Masonic order relate to any activism regarding this information?
It all depends. It all depends. It all depends. You know what I'm saying? And you got a brother here that could speak to that directly to Sheikh 7, right?
Another one right up under it.
And there you go. First, let's just say this really quick. It's very easy, and I understand why. So it's not a critique to say this. It's very easy for those outside of the fraternal organization called Freemasonry to think that all Freemasons are part of this one homogeneous organization and everybody knows what everybody's doing. That's not the case.
That's not the case.
That's like saying every church and every denomination in Christianity is one thing doing the exact. It's not the case, people.
If you do it, and if you do just, I'm not gonna say a basic study, but just a minor in-depth study,
yes,
of the history of Masonry, you're understanding that you'll come to an understanding that first and foremost there are multiple Masonic organizations. Number one.
Yeah, and they all don't get along necessarily either.
And all of them don't have the same agenda.
That's a fact.
So, that's why it's, we say, you can't just, throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Here's an example, a very famous or infamous example of what you're talking about, Sheikh 7. We were talking about Godfather 2. Remember the end of Godfather 2 where there was basically a cleanup? There was an orgy of murders and assassinations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one where the guy was hanging under the bridge. That was Blackfriar Bridge. Google it. Because it actually took place, and the people behind it was a particular Masonic lodge out of Italy that's heavy into fascism called the Propaganda 2 Lodge. Yep.
There go a piece of history, something that could, definitely trace you back and give you an understanding,
right,
as to what exactly, what's actually being, what's actually going on,
right.
Because I know many have these, preconceived notions as to what is going on in the Masonic body.
Right.
However, as I always say, until you get the experience, you don't have no experience.
Now I want to let me speak specific. I want to speak specifically and very briefly to the brother's question. Right.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some Freemasons as individuals that support the dissemination of such things. But guess what? One of the things that we understand, listen close. We understand the power of a secret. Let me explain. Most of the time when we talk about secrets, or when we hear about secrets, we, especially our people who have been without power for a long time, automatically and impulsively take a secret to be offensive, as if we're not going to tell you. We're not going to let you come up. We're not going to give you any power. See? That is not how we see a secret. Think about your 3-year-old playing with matches. Do you explain to that 3-year-old the principles of combustion? No. You say, give me the matches or else. Now follow me. When that 3-year-old becomes 5 or 6, then maybe you do explain why. Because think of those birth dates as degrees. They've shown sufficient proficiency.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get it now?
Yes.
Here's the last example I'll give regarding the power of a secret properly executed. You're in a house in the middle of the wintertime, and it's nice and warm and toasty in your house. But you got people outside your house freezing. Is it smart to open your door wide open, crank your heat to 90, and open all the windows to help them?
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. What do? You bring them in. But these are strangers. How do you bring them in?
You got to get to know them. You got to need you.
You obligate them. There you go.
That was swift right there, bro. That was swift right there. I ain't never heard it put like that. That was a great analogy.
We had another question in the chat too from Brother Bey. He said, how can we avoid the infections?
Good question. Good question. Good question. Well, let's first start by changing how we think about infection. What do you mean, Brother Sharif? This is what I mean. You have 2 ways of thinking of infection or disease with the body. You have two schools of thought. One school of thought is the germ theory. Germ theory says that microbes are the source of disease. Bacteria, viruses, etc. Then you have what's called the terrain model. The terrain model says, yeah, microbes exist, but their ability to affect the health terrain, the internal terrain, depends upon the nature and the disposition of the internal terrain. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Follow me. Think about you getting a cold. That's a microbe. But we all 3 are breathing cold germs right now as we speak. Do you have a cold now? No. Why not?
Because the body hasn't created the conditions where the germ could harbor and fester.
So why does the medical community lean almost 100% towards the germ theory instead of terrain model? Answer: because you can prescribe drugs for the first one. That's the answer. That's the answer. So let's start with changing our thinking. How did Yoda say it in one of the Star Wars series? Luminous beings are we, not just crude flesh. See, we've been conditioned to think that this is just a defecating, making machine, incapable of healing itself. So we have to change our thinking first. So in other words, for the person to ask the question, The problem was in the framing of the question. How could we be free from the infection as if I got to dodge germs? You ain't dodging germs now, you breathing.
Mm-hmm.
The better question is, how can I bolster the terrain so I'm less susceptible? See, when you start to think that way, some of the answers start to spontaneously come.
If I can get you to think.
You can say
Got one. Activate that lymphatic system.
That's definitely one.
You activate that lymphatic system.
And then I just have to say, and everybody can say, "Oh, you always want to go there, bro." Start working on the toxic energy.
That's a huge one. That's a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge one. Okay. Now here's another point I'll bring out. See, when Robert Strecker was doing his research, he was convinced in the 1980s that the HIV virus was 100% fatal. We now know that that's not true, don't we? But they're quiet about that fact. But we know that's not true.
Right.
See?
Right.
Yeah. A number of years ago, this was on the news. My brother Ishmael Bey remembers it. This was at least 10 years. No, it was longer than 10 years ago. In Los Angeles, there was a sister who had HIV. She had HIV, and she was pregnant. Passed it to her child. Her child shed it like the chickenpox.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was on the news.
Yeah, man, you got to talk to me about that one.
I think I heard something about that too.
Yes, sir.
And I was talking about Dr. Sebi cases too.
Man, listen.
Or Sebi. Is it Sebi or Sebi?
Either way, Sebi, we know who he is, right? We know who he is.
It's a
matter of history that he got pulled on the carpet in the court and demonstrated. There we go.
Bro.
Oh, somebody said in the chat.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a number of factors. We have to think holistically. We don't think magic bullet.
Right.
Don't think magic bullet. Think holistically. See? And and you got to think from the proper perspective or reference point. See, when we think from the perspective of microbes, we're thinking from the outside world coming in and we're helpless. When we think from the terrain model, we think bolster what is in here, and that's secondary.
You got to create a condition, make the ethers change.
Period.
Yep. From a parasympathetic to a sympathetic.
You hit it right on the nose, brother.
Fight or flight to arrest and digest. When the body is in full rest and digest state, everything flushes. Guess what?
Listen, we need to interview your co-host.
Yeah, we definitely do. We're gonna get him. Yeah,
because he just dropped a gem right there.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah.
He just dropped a gem right there, people.
Yes. Yeah, we need to get y'all to do a bioenergetic show together.
Let's do it. Yeah. He just dropped, brother. For the audience, can you repeat that again, dear brother?
So, I might confuse my words though with the parasympathetic to the.
Listen, they ain't sound confused to me.
Well, so when the body is in a fight or flight mode, what happens is the digestive tract shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
So when the digestive tract was in a fight or flight mode for too long,
yes,
then the waste within the digestive tract, it stays. And when it sits
Constipation.
there, constipation, and then that's when other viruses and illness comes about because the poop is locked in the intestines, and guess what else is in there?
Yes.
Parasites.
Yes.
Especially if you are a heavy meat eater.
Correct.
But
now I want to camel walk with our brother because that's powerful what he just said. Now, when we say fight or flight, we really mean fight or flight.
Oh, for sure.
Like old school, yo, they shooting.
Yeah.
Like the lion's coming. I gotta jump in this tree. That fight or flight situation should only last a few seconds because either A, you're going to escape danger, or B, you're going to be talking to your great-great-great-grandfather and watching the instant replay. You see what I'm saying?
Legit.
1 or 2, right? Here's the problem. Stress puts you in fight or flight. You know why? Because biochemically, the body can't tell the difference from the thought of affliction and the affliction itself. What did the prophet teach us? The thought of affliction harms worse than the affliction itself. That ain't just religious dogma. That's science.
Real science.
Real science. Biochemically, the body can't tell the difference between stress of an impending danger and the actual danger.
And that is
so meaning you live in that you basically living in a perpetual situation
over and over
that you're creating in your head every day.
How about that?
And Mo, guess what? They
Yes,
told me, they asked me, how do you know?
I hear it too. I hear the same thing. How did you know that?
How did you know that was sitting right there? How did you know that was there?
Yes,
I can feel it.
There you go.
And you know what I feel coming off that? Heat. A lot of it.
That's a fact.
And when it moves, it's like a balloon being bust, and you can just see it. You can see the tissue just starts to calm down from the inflammation.
Crazy, brother?
And to be honest, I can say it probably can happen in within 30 seconds to a minute of you manipulating that tissue, aggressively enough to really get it moving. And before
brother,
we
in Chinese medicine, in our tradition, we say you plant the stick, you see the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
It's immediate or close to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You plant the stick, you see the shadow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and for the record, for anybody that don't know, that's in the chat or that's watching live, I am a licensed massage therapist.
Yes, he is.
On this for, guess what?
Woo! 7 years. Praise Allah.
Yes.
Well, listen, brothers, I gotta run. I gotta get in the rotation. This once again,
classic, bro. Honors and gratitude for coming, man. Man.
Yo, so the next one, right?
Yes, sir.
Part 2.
Real
Jesus, right?
Yes. Real Jesus.
All right, yes, sir. All right, brothers. Sir. Love y'all, brothers.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, Miles.
Another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another boom.
Boom.
There was a lot of boom moments.
Yes, most definitely a boom.
And yeah, we'll have to have our conversation. Yeah.
Well, chat. Everybody, please hit the like button. Share. Please share the video. Mm-hmm. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share to keep your people aware. Share to keep your people and the people aware. We're going to continue to bring this cutting-edge research. Honest to Brother Sharif Anael-Bey, and honest to all of y'all in the chat.
For sure.
Honest to everybody in the chat, we thank you. We really appreciate your participation. honest to, created a balanced universe for the super chats.
Mm-hmm.
Janoy,
Yes.
thank you, brother.
Oh yes.
Thank you for the questions and the participation, man.
Yeah. Yes, that's why I love having. Oh, Thai massage. Ooh, that Thai massage is on a whole different level. Somebody said that in the group chat. No,
Yeah,
shit. That Thai massage is on a whole different level, man.
that's
I done had it done to me once before, and yeah, let's just say I walked out of there feeling like a new person. You know how how we really use the term like, oh yeah, God body,
yeah,
like God body, like 100%
yeah,
relaxed, recharged, like crown just the aura just.
yeah.
That's how to make you feel.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna have to look into that.
hey, keep demonstrating that Thai massage.
I'm gonna have to look into that one, beloved.
Keep demonstrating that. That's a good one for the books for real. And I haven't had the chance to study on anybody to do that Thai massage yet, but that's definitely on my list of things that is to come later in the profession for sure. But yeah, that Thai massage is the truth.
Well, beloved, I'm finna count this one.
Oh yes, sir. I'm about to be real because
Yes, sir. Again, honors and gratitude to everybody in the chat. Honors and gratitude to you, brother co-host Jarvis McGriff. Fail for tapping in.
Man. I like the I like to come in on the back end with my portion.
Yeah, man, brother, man. The portion is always a gift, brother. Always a gift.
Yes, sir.
Always a gift, brother. Yes,
sir. I definitely love it. I definitely love it. But yeah, man, let's we can.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Islam.
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 Peace.
Peace.